Welcome to the module, The Science of Reading, Part 2, Phonics. We value your time and appreciate your active participation during this module. Here are a few suggested learning norms to make the most of your time. If possible, work in an environment with as few distractions so you can engage and reflect. Take notes and jot down ideas and questions as needed. Finally, use this time wisely to ensure your professional learning with university instructors is productive. Welcome to the Phonics section of the Science of Reading. While engaging with the information in the Phonics section of this module, it's important to note the difference between phonemic awareness, the module you just completed, and phonics, the module you are about to begin. Phonics primarily deals with the relationship between letters and sounds in written language, while phonemic awareness focuses on the ability to identify and manipulate individual sounds in spoken words. Our agenda for this module is as follows: introduction and review, learning objectives, what is phonics, 6 syllable types, where do I start with teaching phonics, putting it all together, and resources and closing. By the end of this module, participants will be able to provide a correct response to the question, what is phonics? Correctly identify the 6 syllable types, explain how to get started with the teaching of phonics, and identify resources to explore for additional learning. In the first Science of Reading module, we covered phonemic awareness. Today, we will be discussing the second pillar of literacy, phonics. Historically, large-scale influential research studies have repeatedly found phonics instruction to be a key component in effective reading. To recap, there are 5 pillars of literacy: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. All pillars are interconnected, with each building on the former. Before we delve into the phonics information, let's take a moment to review some important information from the phonemic awareness module. Phonemic awareness is the ability to notice, think about, and work with the individual sounds, phonemes, in spoken words. This includes blending sounds into words, segmenting words into sounds, and deleting and playing with the sounds in spoken words. Before children learn to read print, they need to become aware of how the sounds in words work. They must understand that words are made up of speech, sounds, or phonemes. Phonemes are the smallest parts of sound in a spoken word that make a difference in the word's meaning. For example, changing the first phoneme in the word hat from h to pat changes the word from hat to pat, and so changes the meaning. We hear phonemes as a single word as we blend individual phonemes into a unit as we pronounce the word. Think of phonemes not as the sounds that letters make, but as the sounds of speech that can be represented by the letters. Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear, identify, and manipulate individual phonemes or sounds in a word. This involves orally hearing and speaking the word before connecting any letters to the sounds. For example, in the word shop, there are 3 sounds, sh, ah, p. Even though the sh has 2 letters, it makes 1 sound, or phoneme. Also, remember that there are initial, medial, and final phonemes in a word. Children usually become aware of initial phonemes first, then the final phoneme, then medial phonemes. Remember, when you see letters in between these 2, it is referring to the sound they make, not the letters. There are 44 phonemes, or distinct sounds, in the English language, but only 26 letters in the alphabet. Phonemes can be represented by single letters or combinations of letters. These sounds include single consonant or vowel sounds, digraphs, R-controlled vowels, or vowel diphthongs. Each phoneme contributes to the way words are pronounced and understood in English. Let's do a few review questions. Write down your answers and we'll review the answers on the next slide. How many phonemes are in the word break? How many phonemes in the word to? What is the medial phoneme in the word cheap? And what sound do you change to make man into math? How many phonemes are in the word break? 4. How many phonemes in the word to? 2. What is the medial phoneme in the word cheap? The EA sound. And what sound do you change to make man into math? The final phoneme. When teaching and practicing phonemic awareness with students, make sure to use crisp, exact pronunciation. For example, the word bird would be split into b, ir, d, not with the sound like b, d, etc. Now that we have reviewed phonemic awareness, we can start to understand the next pillar, phonics. Many schools are exploring how they can leverage what we know about the science of reading to help students learn to read, and an essential part of any science of reading, aligned literacy curriculum, is phonics. You've heard phonics mentioned as an essential component for kids learning to read, and it is. But what is phonics really? Phonics connects phonological awareness, the ability to hear and work with spoken words, word parts, and individual sounds, to written language, and is a way of teaching children how to read and write. Phonics involves matching the sounds of spoken English with the individual letters or groups of letters. Written language can be compared to a code, so knowing the sounds of individual letters and how those letters sound when they are combined will help children decode words as they read. A systematic approach to teaching phonics helps students make significant progress in reading. Studies have shown that students who receive explicit phonics instruction outperform those who receive no phonics instruction. Phonics is important because it provides a foundation for reading and writing skills by helping students develop essential decoding strategies. It helps build vocabulary and comprehension skills. It enables children to quickly decode words to read and encode words to write. Phonics teaches the skill of breaking down words into individual sounds, essential for reading and spelling. Reading research tells us that humans use multiple areas of our brains to put together spoken sounds, written symbols, and the meaning of words in order to read and write. We don't start out with established pathways between these areas. We build them through learning and practice. Orthographic mapping is the process by which our brains connect the sounds, letters, pronunciation, and meaning of a word. When a word is mapped in our brains, we can read and write it. Phonics knowledge is an essential ingredient for this process to happen. Here are some characteristics of early readers versus more advanced readers. Readers in the early stages of reading are focused on recognizing letters and their sounds, understanding that print carries meaning, predicting using pictures and patterns, beginning to track print left to right and top to bottom, and recognizing some high-frequency words and reading simple, predictable text. Students that are more in the advanced stages of reading, on the other hand, are reading with fluency and expression, using a variety of strategies to decode unknown words, understanding more complex text and vocabulary, making inferences and drawing conclusions, and analyzing author's purpose, text structure, and literary elements. The early stages of systematic phonics teaching supports new readers as they cruise through words like cat, mop, and pen, and even trickier ones like chip, shine, and goat. But what about when their words get longer, like rocket, refrigerator, or catastrophe? Teaching students how to correctly divide words into syllables and read each one can keep them from skipping or guessing when words get longer. Ready to get started? One of the big differences between balanced literacy and structured literacy, which is instruction aligned with the science of reading, is the approach to phonics instruction. Educators will hear about balanced literacy and may question how this differs from structured literacy, which is aligned with the science of reading. While balanced literacy sprinkle phonics here and there based upon student errors made while reading, structured literacy teaches a sequence that is built on simple to more complex activities. So what exactly is meant by systematic and explicit? These key points help distinguish the differences between systematic and explicit reading instruction. Systematic instruction is when the instructor will teach skills and concepts in a planned sequence that makes sense to students and helps them understand the content. Explicit instruction is when the instructor states what is being taught at the beginning of the lesson and then models for the students. A gradual release model would be used here. Read, reflect, and respond to these two questions. What is phonics and why is it important? Why is it effective phonics instruction important? In this next section, we will explore the 6 syllable types in the English language. The history behind the 6 syllable types. It's rooted in English orthography and decoding, which are the 6 syllable types are based on common patterns found in English words. These patterns help explain why vowels behave differently depending on surrounding letters. And the system helps readers decode words predictably and is especially useful for struggling readers. The influence of Orton-Gillingham approach is the method was one of the first to identify and organize syllable types systematically. Developed by Samuel Orton, a neuropsychiatrist, and Anna Gillingham, an educator and psychologist. Gillingham codified these syllable types to teach reading explicitly and sequentially to students with dyslexia. The adoption and multisensory structured literacy programs. Over time, these syllables types became a cornerstone of structured, multisensory reading programs. Programs aligned with the science of reading now use syllable types to help all students decode and encode more effectively. Why 6? Through analysis of English words, educators noticed that most syllables fit into 6 predictable patterns. Naming and teaching these patterns allows for systematic phonics instruction. They reflect a way to simplify and categorize the complexity of English spelling for instructional purposes. In continued use today, the 6 syllable types are now widely used in reading intervention, phonics instruction, and curriculum design. They support decoding, pronunciation, spelling, and syllable division, key for fluent reading. Let's watch a video on the 6 syllable types. You may want to take notes during the video, as we will have a check for understanding following the video.
Let's review 6 syllable types. What is a syllable? A syllable is a single spoken sound and usually contains a vowel and some consonants. You can clap syllables, come, pew, tur, or put your hand under your chin and see how many times your mouth opens. There are 6 syllable types. When we recognize syllable types, we are able to read longer, multi-syllable words. We're going to run through each syllable real quick, and then we'll check and see if you can remember them. Hopefully you've already heard about these syllables. If not, check out some of the videos linked below. The first kind of syllable is a closed syllable. A closed syllable has one short vowel that is closed in at the end by one or more consonants. Like here in fan, you can see the A is short and says ah, and it's closed in by the N. In punch, U is short and then it's closed in by the consonants N, C, and H. Next, we have an open syllable. An open syllable ends in a vowel that says its name. In me, the E is at the end and it says its name, E. In no, the O is at the end and says O. I like to think of a door to remember the difference between open and closed syllables. When the door is closed, this word is web with a short E, eh. But when the door is open, it's an open syllable, which makes the vowel at the end say its long sound. So the word is we. Here, closed, the word is sock. Open, it's so. Another type of syllable is the magic E syllable. A magic E syllable has a long vowel and ends with a silent E. In like, the I says its long sound or its name I, and then the E at the end doesn't say anything. Just like in the word name, the magic E at the end makes that A say its long sound A, and the E stays quiet. The fourth kind of syllable is R-controlled. An R-controlled syllable is a part of a word with a vowel that is followed by an R. In storm, the O and the R together make it R-controlled. The 5 R-controlled sounds are AR, R, ER, IR, OR, or, and UR, Did you notice that ER, IR, and UR all say the same sound, You can see chart is R controlled because it has A and R next to each other. Another kind of syllable is the vowel team. A vowel team syllable has 2 vowels next to each other that say a new sound. Here, E and E are together and it says E. There are many kinds of vowel teams, but as long as it's 2 vowels together, it's a vowel team. Like AI in rain, or IE in pie, OU in loud, EA in meal, OA in boat, and even OO in cool. Stay is a vowel team too, because the Y is acting as a vowel. Sometimes Y and W act as a team with vowels too. The final type of syllable is a consonant LE. A consonant LE syllable has a consonant followed by the letters L and E at the end of a word. Here are some consonant LE endings. Bull, like in bubble, pull, like in apple, and tull, like in bottle, and zul, like in puzzle. A consonant LE syllable is always with another syllable, and you can do 3, 2, 1 to help you spot it. If a word ends in an E and there's an L in front of it, and then another consonant, you know that you have a consonant LE word. Sometimes the consonant before the LE will be doubled, like in wobble, to make the beginning syllable closed, which makes the vowel short. If there weren't 2 B's here and there was just 1, then the word would be wobble. The word syllable even has a consonant LE at the end of it. Let's go through some words and you see if you can remember what syllable each word is. Remember, the consonant LE ones will have 2 types of syllables. Stamp. What kind of syllable is that? It is closed because of the short A, and then it's closed in by the M and the P. How about this word? Pine. What kind of syllable? Magic E. It has that E at the end, making I say its name. What kind of syllable is float? Vowel team. We've got the O and the A together. What kind of syllable is no? That one is open. It has the O at the end, saying its name. How about hurt? Hurt is an R-controlled syllable. All right, we're going to zoom through the last few, so you go ahead and say what kind of syllable they are. Plate. Magic E. Bird. R-controlled. Straw. Vowel team. Marble. R-controlled and consonant LE. The mar is the R-controlled. and the BLE is the consonant LE syllable. Marble. Dunk. Closed. She. Open. Fork. R controlled. Table. Open and consonant LE. The T is open. The BLE is consonant LE. Coat. Vowel team. Spring. Closed. Flash. Closed. Froze. Magic E. Cuddle. Closed and consonant LE. Globe. Magic E. Yo-yo. Both of those are open. The yo and the yo. Open. Spoil. Vowel team. Art. R controlled. One more. Eagle. Vowel team and consonant LE. Awesome job. Knowing these 6 syllable types really helps you read longer multisyllabic words.
Let's check our understanding of the 6 syllable types. Using the red word bank at the bottom, determine which syllable type matches its definition on numbers 1 through 6. Pause the video if you need additional time. Correct answers will be revealed on the following slide. Let's see how you did. Number 1, have a long vowel sound and end with a silent E. Magic, E syllable. Number 2, the vowel sound is followed and changed by R. It's R controlled syllable. Number 3, use 2 or more letters to represent a short, long, or other vowel sound. Would be the vowel team syllable. Number 4, having a short vowel sound spelled by one vowel with 1 or more consonants following it is the closed syllable. Unstressed syllables at the end of the word with a consonant followed by an I and silent E is the consonant IE syllable. And number 6 has a single vowel at the end, leaving it open to make a long sound, is open syllable. Strategies like try the short and long vowel sounds and see which one sounds right may seem helpful to kids, but using phonics knowledge is always better than guessing. Even for one-syllable words, noticing the syllable type can help kids know for sure what sound a vowel represents. It's so empowering to know what to do when you get an unknown word. For many kids, learning about syllables is the final piece of the puzzle for putting all their phonics knowledge into action during real-life reading. Tackling words in syllable-sized pieces is always more efficient than laboring over every letter. When kids use their syllable knowledge during reading, they can read more fluently. From the simple fact that every syllable must have a vowel, to knowing the C-IE spelling pattern for the end of words, knowledge of syllable types can spill right over into the kid's spelling. Pause for reflection. Why is it important to teach the 6 syllable types? It is imperative that we provide our students with consistent opportunities to practice breaking apart words into syllables and then identifying the syllable type. There are so many ways to teach syllables, and students should be provided with many opportunities to practice. So let's look at some strategies that can be used when teaching phonics. Multisensory activities engage 2 or more senses, such as sight, sound, touch, movement, and even taste or smell, at the same time to enhance learning. This approach is especially beneficial in education and skill development. Key benefits include improving memory and retention. Engaging multiple senses creates stronger neural connections. Students are more likely to remember information when it's presented in a variety of ways. It supports diverse learning styles, which accommodates visual, auditory, and tactile kinesthetic learners. It helps reach students who may not respond well to traditional lecture-based instruction. It also increases engagement and motivation. Multisensory tasks are often more fun and interactive. Hands-on learning keeps students involved and reduces off-task behavior. It enhances comprehension. Learners can better understand complex concepts by seeing, hearing, and doing. Abstract ideas become more concrete through movement and physical interaction. They build stronger language and literacy skills, especially effective in phonics and reading instruction. It reinforces sound symbol correspondence and vocabulary. It can improve focus and reduce frustration. By using movement and varied sensory input, can help students with attention challenges stay focused. It also offers alternative routes to learning that may reduce anxiety or resistance, and supports students with learning differences, particularly beneficial for students with dyslexia, ADHD, or sensory processing disorders, and it helps bridge cognitive gaps by tapping into the strengths in other sensory areas. Word sorts are an effective, hands-on strategy to teach the 6 syllable types by helping students analyze, categorize, and internalize patterns in words. Using word sorts promotes multisensory learning, which involves visual, auditory, and kinesthetic engagement, pattern recognition. Students discover syllable type patterns instead of memorizing rules in isolation. Active learning promotes critical thinking and collaboration if done in pairs or small groups. And differentiation can be adapted for different skill levels and learning needs. Make learning syllable types enjoyable by incorporating phonics games into your lessons. Syllable Showdown is where teachers say or shows a word. Students write the syllable type, for example, closed, on index cards or whiteboards and hold up their answers. Award points for correct identification and explanation of the syllable type. Syllable Go Fish, the materials would be custom card decks with words from different syllable types. Students play Go Fish, asking for words that belong to specific syllable types instead of number matches, e.g., do you have a vowel team word? When a match is made, the player must explain why it fits that syllable type. To support reading and decoding, provide students with ample opportunities to read and decode words that exemplify each syllable type. Select age-appropriate text or specific word lists that focus on a particular syllable type. Encourage students to use highlighters to underline syllables as they read. Identify and highlighting helps students visually recognize and analyze different syllable patterns in context. For practicing syllable division, if students are going to use syllable types to read multisyllabic words, they've got to know how to correctly divide words into syllables. Lots of practice with examples are essential, even as low-tech as literally cutting words apart. To make it memorable, there are tons of ways to make syllable information stick in kids' memories, but what's better than referencing their favorite food group, candy? Try moving from simple to complex and coordinating with other grade levels or subject areas to share the load. If students learn about open and closed one-syllable words in kindergarten, they can build on that knowledge year after year. Let's look at another strategy. Syllable food chop. Show students pictures of food items or dig through a bin of play food and have them pretend to chop the food into syllable pieces. Eggplant gets chopped into 2 parts. Asparagus gets chopped into 4 parts, and etc. Activities and games are a fun way to engage the learner and teach phonics. This activity uses a wheel with pictures of words and digraphs. Students place a clothespin on the correct digraph. This is an easy activity as it only requires a fly swatter and individual letters of the alphabet. The activity is adaptable to the level of the student. Students sound out words by slapping each letter with the fly swatter. The teacher or students write words on the sidewalk with sidewalk chalk, and students hop along while sounding out the word. Activities of this nature are fun and engaging. to put it all together and review what we know. In this module, we covered information focused on the second pillar, phonics, from the 5 pillars of literacy. To review key points, phonics refers to the relationship between letters and sounds in language. Letters represent sounds, and phonics instruction should be explicit and systematic. To be effective with young learners or those students for whom English is a second language, systematic instruction must be designed appropriately and taught carefully, and should include teaching letter shapes and names, phonemic awareness, and all major letter-sound relationships. Teaching the 6 syllable types reinforces the following in students: reduces guessing, boosts confidence, boosts fluency, and improves spelling. We hope you enjoyed this module on the Science of Reading Part 2, Phonics. Thank you, and we look forward to providing continued support for your professional growth as university instructors.